Why I moved to the cloud was because my old server and IT system was starting to show signs of wear. And why I used hosted desktop was because I did some research, spoke to existing users who use similar software to me, and I didn't hear a bad report about them.
Fellow accountant, small practice, said use these guys, just what you need. Very flexible. They'll manage your software.
I operate entirely in the cloud, where software is not cloud enabled, such as CCH or my tax software or something of that nature. Then that's why hosted desktop is ideal, because you can get the best of both worlds with it.
What persuaded us to move to desktop? We had to buy a new server. We looked around, we'd seen the hosted desktop at a conference 12 months before, actually.
Well, our server was getting past its sell-by date. We thought it would take the hassle out of supporting the server.
Well, we actually took over a business that had recently installed it and initially were sceptical, but ever since we've been very pleased. So it was a good move.
It took place very quickly, very efficiently. That was one of the key aspects, in fact, to give me peace of mind from day one.
The cloud is the way forward. In terms of everything's moving that way, it allows scalability. It means you can concentrate on what you're good at. So, no, I didn't really expect it to be complicated.
It was just the natural thing to do. I couldn't work without it.
I have to say, I could not believe how impressive the support was that we had from the guys.
Basically went very well. We would have taken a lot more time because we'd have had to set the server up. In this case, I only had to set up the applications.
It was relatively simple, and we moved, in our particular situation, we moved small chunks of data at a time to suit us.
Luckily, all my staff are pretty much the same as me, that change is inevitable. So as far as this change was concerned, there was never any hesitation. They already knew about it anyway.
As I am a passionate advocate of cloud computing, and the whole of my team are equally so, it was just the natural thing to do.
As far as they were concerned, they were using exactly the same software that they were always using in exactly the same way.
They knew we needed a new server, and basically I talked to them about the hosted system, and they were all happy with that.
Always expect some downtime, and I think we've had a day in the past year, or less than a day in the past year, but that's fully acceptable compared to the 10 to 12 days I'd had the year before.
The idea that now, instead of having to worry about software updates, it's handled. Any IT questions, I fire an email to Adam, and next thing you know, I get the support to get back saying it's fixed.
As far as reliability goes, it's been really, really good. And with hosted, it just works.
Very reliable. I think in the 2.5 years we've had one day lost, and that's been it. And that was an unforeseen problem.
The support has been the key factor for me in keeping with hosted, and in fact recommending it to other people. It's probably the best support service I've had from any IT company in nearly 30 years of using IT.
Any queries we have seem to be dealt with almost immediately. It's all very, very good, no problems with it at all.
Really, really impressive. We can send them an email, and they'll come back within a few minutes and get it sorted.
The response times were very good, especially when setting it up, because I was backwards and forwards. The week I was setting it up, I must have spoke to them about 10 or 11 times, and they always responded very fast.
Our knowledge and ability to install the programs, do the backups as necessary, all this sort of thing is not readily there. So to have the outside support doing it for us, where they're doing it all the time, so they are experts, is brilliant.
Considering what we had originally, which is using our stuff at home or at the office, the security there is nowhere near as safe as it is now.
If you vet the people and you vet the service, and you know it's a quality service, and I did before I moved on to it, I asked lots of questions about where the data was located, is it in the EU, where the data centres, what's the disaster recovery plan, who has access. I asked an awful lot of questions, and fortunately Hosted UK have got answers to those, so therefore I had no concerns.
I think the data is actually far more secure in their hands than it would be in our own office.
Hosted assured me that their systems were in bunkers in Newbury, and they had a backup to another bunker, I think, in Kent, and I was happy with that.
I think there's always a worry of who can use it outside, and I know there's data protection aspects as well about having secure data in the EU rather than outside.
It's not my data, it's my client's data. Therefore, I should be completely concerned about their privacy, morally, but also as the Information Commissioner, you know, they're very clear that that sort of personal data shouldn't leave the EU.
The only loss of in-house control that I was perhaps a little concerned about was the backing up facility, but Hosted actually provide you with a facility to do a local backup as well. So I can set it going one evening a week and it backs up all my client files onto a local machine in half an hour.
Coming back to what I said earlier on about the data security is the prime concern. As long as that has been controlled in a way, then no, I'm not worried about the loss of the fact I can't set up a user or this or that. In fact, it's brilliant, it's liberating.
In every respect, it's given us more control. We don't have to worry about the infrastructure or anything like that.
I think the only noticeable thing is that we don't upgrade our own software anymore, but that's been a big advantage because it used to take us probably 3 or 4 hours to go around and update software when a new CD came through.
I was a little worried because I've always done the majority of the IT myself, especially the programs and such, and I wasn't sure that I'd still be able to get at them, but I haven't had any problems with that at all.
If we want a program updated or something changed, then we request it and it happens. Any changes that Hosted Desktop want to make, they inform us of in advance.
It would certainly be something to strongly consider if their current equipment is looking like it's failing or not up to scratch.
If you're a small firm, you need to be able to compete in terms of what you offer your customers, availability of data, security of data, latest products, and also you don't want to spend time mucking around with IT things. You should spend your time loving your customers and finding new customers.
Why don't you? Why pay for the IT infrastructure in-house when it could be done much more efficiently in a hosted environment?
My advice to people contemplating doing it is just go on and do it.
I would recommend they certainly consider it, particularly if, like us, they're a reasonably small firm, don't have the resources, the time to give the IT support and backup, which is absolutely essential with technology these days. Everything is moving more into the cloud and it's expected of our clients. We want to be able to develop that and get client access to the cloud and all this sort of area, which quite frankly with our small business we wouldn't be able to do, but with Hosted Desktop we will be able to.